Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Maushmi Das. Now today I will be doing one last topic on anatomy of the inner ear, which is about the organ of Corti. Now organ of Corti is the sensory organ of hearing. So we need to know a few things in details about its structure. So, it is the sensory organ of hearing, as I told earlier, basilar membrane, which forms one of the boundaries of scala media. Here, right here is the basilar membrane. The organ of Corti is situated on top of this basilar membrane. So, the structure that you see over here, these things, this is the organ of Corti. Now the length of the coiled basilar membrane is about 35 mm long, and the width and thickness of the basilar membrane and the organ of Corti, it keeps increasing systematically from the base to the apex of the cochlea. So now coming into the different parts of the organ of Corti, the important components are the tectorial membrane, the tunnel of Corti, which is formed by the inner and outer rods, and it contains a fluid called the cortilimb. Now the exact function of both these rods and the cortilimb is not known. Other than this, the organ of Corti also has cochlear hair cells and some supporting cells. Now we are going to discuss every bit of this in details. So first we will talk about the basilar membrane upon which the organ of Corti is situated. This basilar membrane is actually just a sheet which is predominantly formed of extracellular matrix. So this is composed of filaments within a ground substance with a discontinuous layer of thin elongated tympanic border cells on the underside facing the perilimb of the scala tympani. So as I had told you earlier, the scala vestibuli, the scala media and scala tympani, and this scala media, it is bounded inferiorly by the basilar membrane. So basilar membrane is what is separating the scala media from the scala tympani below. The underside, which is this part, the underside of the basilar membrane is the part which is facing the perilimb of the scala tympani. Now this side is lined by these elongated tympanic border cells. And the fibrils of the basilar membrane, they run predominantly radially, and it's composed of collagen, mostly the collagen type 4 alpha 1 to alpha 5 chains, and in addition they also have fibronectin and laminin type 11 adhesive type molecules, which are common to these extracellular matrices. So this is about the basic structure of the basilar membrane. Next, coming to the tectorial membrane. Now, the tectorial membrane is the structured sheet of extracellular matrix which overlies the organ of Corti. Now, we'll go back to the picture above. You see over here, this here is the tectorial membrane. You can see how it is overlying on the organ of Corti. So, this tectorial membrane is a structured sheet of extracellular matrix material as well. At its inner edge, it is attached to the interdental cells of the spiral limbus, which is a bony prominence in the inside of the organ of Corti. It appears to not be attached to the surface of organ of Corti at its outer edge. Now, this tectorial membrane, over the top surface, it has densely packed fibers which are arranged in the network, which is known as the cover net. And the outermost tip is also distinguished by a higher density of fiber packing. And on the underside of the tectorial membrane, which is facing the apical surface of the organ of Corti, it has a thickened ridge which is known as the Henson stripe. And body of the tectorial membrane is formed of fiber bundles which run radially as well, just like the basilar membrane, and the fiber bundles are composed of collagen type 2, 5 and 6, and along with this other glycoproteins are autogelin, alpha and beta tectorin and cecum 16. So the difference is, you can see the basilar membrane, it was composed of fibronectin laminin type 11 and collagen type 4 alpha 1 to alpha 5, whereas the tectorial membrane is formed of collagen type 2, 5 and 9, autogelin, alpha and beta tectorin, and cecum 16. This tectorial membrane is actually a lifelong structure which is produced only during cochlear development. And what is the importance of this? It's that the damage to the tectorial membrane by any disease process or any noise trauma, it will not be repaired and it will result in a permanent hearing loss. So this is not something that regenerates or repairs by itself. It is a lifelong structure that is formed only once during the cochlear development. Hence, any damage to it will be resulting in a permanent hearing loss. Next, we come to the cochlear hair cells. Now, these cochlear hair cells, they are the receptor cells for hearing, and they transduce sound energy into electrical energy. Now, there are two types of cochlear hair cells, the inner hair cells and outer hair cells. Now, the inner hair cells, they form a single row, whereas the outer hair cells, they are arranged in 3 to 4 rows. These inner hair cells, they are richly supplied by afferent cochlear fibers. The important part to note here is the afferent bit, and they are probably more important in the transmission of the auditory impulses. Whereas the outer hair cells, they mainly receive efferent innervation from the olivary complex, and they are concerned with modulating the function of the inner hair cells. So you see, both inner and outer hair cells, they have very different functions from each other. And these hair cells, 95% of these hair cells, 95% of the afferent fibers of the spiral ganglion, they supply the inner hair cells, whereas only 5% supply the outer hair cells. And the efferent fibers to the hair cells come from the olivocochlear bundle, whose cell bodies are located in the superior olivary complex. Each cochlea sends innervation to both sides of the brain. Now we will discuss about what are the differences between the inner hair cells and the outer hair cells. So the inner hair cells are actually lesser in number when compared to the outer hair cells. It is 3500 in number, whereas the outer hair cells are 12,000 in number. As I said, inner hair cells are arranged in just one row and the outer hair cells are arranged in 3 to 4 rows. The inner hair cells, they are flask shaped, whereas the outer hair cells are cylindrical in shape. And as I was earlier telling you, the inner hair cells are primarily afferent fibers and very few of them are efferent, whereas the outer hair cells are mainly efferent fibers and very few of them are afferent. In terms of development, the inner hair cells develop much earlier and the outer hair cells develop late. And as stated earlier, inner hair cells, their function is to transmit auditory stimuli, whereas the function of outer hair cells is to modulate the function of inner hair cells. And when it comes to stereocilia length, the inner hair cells stereocilia, they are short and fat, whereas the outer hair cells, they are long and thin. The outer hair cells are the ones which are mobile or motile, whereas the inner hair cells are non-motile. The inner hair cells are more resistant to damage by ototoxic drugs and noise trauma, whereas outer hair cells are very vulnerable and they get easily damaged by ototoxic drugs and noise. The inner hair cells are located farther from the modulus, whereas the outer hair cells are located closer. And the last difference is that the outer hair cells, they generate otoacoustic emissions, whereas the inner hair cells, they do not generate any otoacoustic emissions. So as you see in the picture over here, the inner hair cell, this first one is the inner hair cell, they are mostly afferent nerve fibers, and as you can see, this is flask shaped, whereas the outer hair cells, they are mostly efferent and it is cylindrical shaped, as you can see over here. Next we come on to the supporting cells. Now the supporting cells, there are multiple supporting cells. The first, there's Dieter's cells. The Dieter's cells, they intercalate in between the outer hair cells and they have cell bodies that contact with each other at their basal end and rest on the basilar membrane. Other than Dieter's cells, there are outer and inner pillar cells and phalangeal cells. These cells, basically the outer hair cells and the inner hair cells, they are separated in the radial plane by these pillar cells. And they are very similar in morphology to the Dieter's cells. So these pillar cells and the Dieter cells, the function of these is that it provides mechanical support to the organ of Corti, which is very essential for normal sound evoked movements of the basilar membrane that lead to stimulation of the hair cells. Now this is number 1 and this is number 2. The third type of supporting cells are the Hensen cell. So these Hensen cells, they are located to the outermost row of the Dieter cells and they contain large lipid droplets. What we might think the function of the Hensen cell is that it provides additional mass. Other than the Hensen cells, we have more additional epithelial cell types, which are the Claudius cells, which are present in the outer skirt of the organ of Corti ridge. So what happens is, in the basal cochlear coils, sitting on the basilar membrane and covered by the Claudius cells, there is another group of cells which is known as the Boettcher cells. So there's Claudius cells and there are Boettcher cells. As we already learned about what are the functions of these cells, that they are providing additional mass and they are providing mechanical support to the organ of Corti. Other than this, another function is that they play a very crucial role in cochlear homeostasis. They take up potassium from the extracellular spaces around the hair cells and ferry it out of the sensory epithelium by an intracellular route through the intercellular coupling provided by the large gap junctions. So these are the 3 functions of the supporting cells which we find in the organ of Corti. Now this completes everything about the organ of Corti. So we saw what the basilar membrane is made of, how is it different from the tectorial membrane which overlies the organ of Corti. As you can see in this picture, this is the tectorial membrane, this is the basilar membrane. And you can see over here, these yellow ones are the outer hair cells, the yellow ones over here, and the ones over here are the inner hair cells. The various cells, the supporting cells which I just spoke to you about, they are here the Boettcher cells, the Dieter cells, the cells of Hensen. So this completes everything you need to know about the organ of Corti. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll be seeing you in my next video.